So we're at the Gemara. We saw the Mishnah that described the process where a Zaken Mamre becomes Chayv Mechayev Misa. So the pasuk of a Zaken Mamre, this is the pasuk. No, it's not. That's not the pasuk. It's ki yipalim imcha davar la mishpat. When something is yipala, I think generally means it's far away from you. You're separated. You can't come to davar la mishpat, and you can't come to a conclusion in mishpat. Bein dam ledam, bein din ledin, or bein nega lenega, between blood and blood, between a din and a din, between one neg and another. Divrei rivois, arguments, b'sharecha, within your gates, the kamt of Alisa, and you'll get up and you'll go the place that Hashem will pick for you. And the pasuk continues that at that point, then you go to the Sanhedrin, then you have to follow what they say. But if you don't do so, then that's a Zaken Mamre, the person who doesn't listen. So Yipala, use the Lashon Yipala when it's separated. So we darshan b'mufla sheva bezin. It means, Rashi says, it doesn't mean, very often we'll say mufla sheva bezin, it means the head of the bezin. Over here it just means a mumcha. It's only talking about someone who is a full-fledged member of the court, who then refuses to comply with the decision of the Sanhedrin. Mimcha. So that's the next word in the pasuk. Ki yipale mimcha. So yidashem mimcha ze yoyetz. That's talking about a person who Rashi says shenechlak b'iber hashana hakari soid ve'etza. Iber hashana is that we're going to describe all the different kinds of decisions that a Zaken Mamre can defy the Sanhedrin on, that he's going to be Mechayev Misa. So the first one is he has to be a Mumcha. Then now we're going to start talking about the different types of dinim. So we're talking about if he disagrees about the psak of a Iber hashana or Iber hachodesh. V'cheinu oimer. This is mimechi yatsa Choshev al Hashem, that from you it comes out someone who makes machshavas al Hashem ra yoyetz b'lial, a bad yoyetz, a bad advisor. So we see that we put together cheshbon. Cheshbon is I think cheshbon means, I'm sorry, well, yoyetz is the one who makes a cheshbon. I'm sorry, it says the Lashon of Cheshbon. Yoyetz Choshev al Hashem Ra, and it says he's called a Yoyetz, and we say also Lashon Mimcha, so we put together Mimcha with Yoyetz, and I guess Yoyetz itself means Iber HaChodesh. So it's not exactly clear how you make that. Seems like there's some steps missing. There could be other things that it could mean, but that's what it seems to be. That's what it seems. That's the implication of the Gemara. So then the next thing is kipalim davar. The next word is davar. Zu halacha. This is halacha, as Rashi says. Rashi says it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, that he gets killed if he's chaylik on halacha l'Moshe Sinai. La mishpat zehadin. That's talking about a din. So Rashi says that means a din gzeir shava. That's what it's referring to. And so I guess like all these things are, the Gemara has its ways of knowing what it's referring to. It's not directly, you can't draw the direct line of how it got to that conclusion. Bein dam ledam, bein dam nida ledam leda. It's talking about differentiating between dam nida and dam leda, right? After a woman gives birth, the dam that she has afterwards, the dam makes her tameh for 7 days or 14 days, depending if it's a boy or a girl, and then it's dam taira for the next, either 33 days or 66 days. So you're mechalik between the dam nida and the dam leda. Dam, so ben dam nida, dam leda, dam ziva. These different damim, the dam of a nida, the dam of a leda, and the dam of a zav, which is the higher level of tumah. Just it's going to come up on the bottom of the yamid, just to remind ourselves. Midaraisa, a woman who is a dam nida, at the end of 7 days of nida, she becomes tar. We're not noig like that. We treat every dam as dam ziva, but midaraisa, after 7 days, it's dam. For the first 7 days after a woman is roya dam, that's dam nida. Then, after those 7 days are up, there's 11 days in which, if she's roya during those 11 days, if she sees 3 times in those 11 days, if she sees once in Shemeres Yom Keneged Yom, she's tameh for the rest of that day as well as the following day, and then she's tar. But if she sees 2 or 3, if she sees 3 days in a row, then she becomes a Zava Gedaila, who then becomes tameh for another full 7 days. So, and she has to bring a carbon, I think. Yeah. So that's, but in any case, that's dam nida, dam leida, dam ziva. Bein din ledin, bein din nefashis, din mamnis, din makas. On all kinds of dinim that affect nefashis, mamnis, and makas. Bein nega lenega, bein negoy adam, negoy bottom, negoy begadim. All types of mitzyrus that can be applied. There are 3 possible variations. There's nega, a tzaras in a adam, a tzaras in a house, and a tzaras in a beged. Divrei. What's the next pasuk? Next words in the pasuk. Divrei ribos. So what is divrei? Elu hacharamim v'ha'erechim v'ha'akdeshes. These are things, dvarim, words that a person accepts upon himself when he makes a cherem, he makes something awesome himself, or he takes erchi alai, he makes something hegdish. Ribos is arguments or disputes. Zu hashkos soita v'arifas eglo the tyrus mitzayra. Rivas is referring to. So let's see the Rashi on this. Divrei ribas havale lemichtav dvar riv ksiv divrei ribas l'rabes charam ve'erchem v'ekdoshes shem ba'am v'cholam alidei dibur apeh. Those are things that come from speaking. Zu hashkos soita shi'al yidei riv shebeino bein baila. These are all things that relate to disputes. So Saita obviously happens because she's in a fight with her husband. Barifas agala, that's talking about the egla arufa. If someone dies, if you find a corpse between towns, shachal neragal yedei mariva, because the reason why he's dead is probably because he was in a fight. I mean, pretty much everything in human life, in society, involves riv. It seems a very broad connection to say the chalal, a corpse, involves a riv. And Tyrus Mitzayra, Rashi says, because it's comes from Lashon Hara. So that's also rivos. B'sharecha zuleket shikhu peya. That's referring to leket shikhu peya, which Rashi says shehein la'aniyim shekasa ben va'achlu b'sharecha. So sharecha is a reference to aniyim. So all these things, this brisa gives all the different types of things of that you can, that one of the dayanim in a bezdin can make a psak on these types of disputes, and they will, if he doesn't listen to what the Sanhedrin says, he's going to be mechayiv misa as a zaken mamre. The Mishnah continues, "V'kamta mi bezdin v'alisa." He leaves bezdin and he goes up, meaning they had this discussion. I think it means he comes from his local bezdin and he goes up to Yerushalayim. Tells you that Beis Hamikdash is higher than Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael gavayim mikol ha'arotzos. That's the Alisa. Alisa is telling you that this is the highest point in the Lishus HaGazas in the Beis Hamikdash, and this where the Sanhedrin is. They're going up to that. Ela Makim, Malamed Shahamakim Garim. The final words in the pasuk is that Ela Makim. That tells you that it has to be in the Beis Hamikdash. If Sanhedrin is not in the Beis Hamikdash, there's no din of Zaken Mamre. If one of the Dayanim defies the Bezdin. We understand, it says he goes up from his local Bezdin to the Beis HaMikdash. That means this, it says Alisa, so that makes sense. Where do we know that Eretz Yisrael is higher than all the other lands? Days are coming, as where's the pasuk? It's talking about the Yemais HaMashiach. The days will come when we won't even be talking about that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim. Kim Chai Hashem, they're going to make a shvu on that which Hashem, Asher Hela, Asher Hevi Ezera Beis Yisrael, Eretz Tefan, they took him from the north, from Galus, Mikol Aratzis, from all the lands, Asher Hidachtem Sham. So it says Asher Hela, he brought us up from all the other lands to Eretz Yisrael, the Yashval Ad Masam, and they'll sit on their land. This is it's nice to see a pasuk in Yirmiyah, with the positive message. We could all use that. So that's where we see that Eretz Yisrael is higher than all the other lands. Tanu Rabban, Zaken Mamre Eine Chayev Al Davar Shezdoine Karas V'Shegosei Chatas. Divrei Reb Meir. Reb Meir says a Zaken Mamre is only chayev on something that you'd be mechayev a karas for if you do it b'shaygig, if you do it b'mezid, and you bring the chatas if it's b'shaygig. The Gemara is going to go through our whole list that we had before.
Right.
Complies with this memra of Rameh. Yehuda Aimer al davar she'ikroi midivrei Torah pirusha midivrei seifrim. Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be on something that the root of the Isser is the Dvar Torah, and it means the main mistake that he's making is on something that the Torah commands you to do, and there's a Dikdusei Seifrim that the Midrabanan, there's clarifications about how it should be applied.
Is Rabbi Yehuda widening the scope or narrowing it?
I think it's not clear. It's it could be in some cases yes, in some cases no. That means I don't think the two I don't think they necessarily overlap entirely, right? They're just different cheshbainis. It depends on what the einish is. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it depends on where the crux of the issue is. It has to be something that it's written in the Torah, but it's not clear how to interpret it, and that's what you're. But it could theoretically be it could be a Mises Bezdin, it could be a Malkus.
Because according to Likutei Rashi, do you have it on you?
Yeah.
So he's saying
from Sheisifu Ledaktik Acha Maisa Habrias Ulahachma Velasas Yog was Naim Latayr Vegazu Xeris Lahakikas Adam in Avera. So he's the way that he says it is like it's siyagim, it's fences. The Gavasa is Gera Balakabal Torah of Chutz Vidavar Echad Ema Kabal.
According to that, it would seem like Rabbi Yehuda is like really widening the scope, like even things that are.
He's saying this is just an example of something that's very, very kuladik. That it's not as chomer as a Dvar Torah, and even so, he's gonna say it's gonna have this application. Yeah, there's no Rashi. There's Likutei Rashi. There's no regular Rashi. So that's Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda. Reb Shimon Mafilu Diktich Echem Midgdusei Seifrim. Reb Shimon sounds more like what you were just saying. He's saying even one. It's not just a pirush. It's not a explanation, but rather. So this is we were Dikdu his Seifrim. I think that was Reb Shimon. The Likutei Rashi is on Reb Shimon.
Yeah, that's
so he
true.
says even one. It's trying to explain what's the difference between Pirushei Seifrim and the Dikdukei Seifrim. He says even if it's a standalone Derabanan, you would still be a Zaken Mamre. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda said it has to be something rooted essentially in a Deraisa, an explanation of a Deraisa. Zok Gemara, my time of the Meir. Where does the Meir get this from? That it has to be chayve karas and chatas. Davar davar. Ksiv hacha ki yipala mimcha davar mishpat. That's our original pasuk. Ksiv hasam the nelam davar meini akol. It's talking about the parhalam davar shel tzibur, where the bezdin made a mistake, and we say on that it's those the Gemara over there says that those are things that's daine karas. You only are bring a parhalam davar shel tzibur on something that's daine karas shegase chatas. So we learn from there to here. Malan davar shechayev als daine karas al shegase chatas. Afkan davar shechayev als daine karas al shegase chatas. But Yehuda al pi atayra shayirucha. He darshans according to the Torah that the pasuk says, the end of the pasuk, right? That says the einish of the zaken mamre. It says if you don't do al pi atayra shayirucha adika Torah v'yarucha. That's conforms with what he was saying. It has to be a devar Torah, and the hayra of the bezdin of the chachamim is in dispute of how to interpret it, and that's what you'll be a zaken mamre. Rav Shimon asher yigidu l'chem na'makon hahu afilu koldahu. So if it says asher yigidu l'chem makon hahu, so that means even a small thing. I think it's not exactly clear what the inference is of this, but asher yagidu l'cha means asher yagidu l'cha, whatever it is that they tell you. If you dispute that, that's going to be a zaken mamre. Like you asked before, how are we going to understand our original brisa that laid out all the different possibilities of a zaken mamre according to Rameya that has to be a chiv kares? So Rava says, I'm not going to spend my time on this. Told her Papa, you explain it to Rav Huna bar Chanina. So he says, Ki yipalei b'mufla shebim k'bezdin hakasam edaber. That's not objectionable. That's not talking about what type of dispute is included. It just means that the zaken has to be a mumcha b'shebe bezdin. Mimcha ze yoyetz. That we said is talking about a person, a dayan, where they're having a discussion about whether to be ma'avad shana. She'edei la'avad shanim l'kvei chadashim. That means that he knows how to be ma'avad shana and to say when the chadashim are ketnan hein heidu shem avnes hashana kol adar. They were made that they were ma'aver. They were having a machlokes about until what point in adar you could be ma'aver the shana, right? You add on a second adar. So they said you could do it the whole month of Adar. Shahayu I'm Arapurim. And they said, and the discussion was, they said instead that it should be only until Purim. So the Ilahai Gisa Kashari Chametz Pesach. The Ilahai Gisa Kashari Chametz Pesach. The concern is if you get it wrong, that means they declared an extra Adar, and they waited a little bit too long. That means they waited till after Purim. And the reason why you don't want to wait till after Purim, we learned back in Megillah, is because then people will it's 30 days before the Chag, they're going to start thinking that they're going to start making the cheshbonos of when Pesach is going to be. And the problem will be if you'll say that the Shana was Ma'ober and it really wasn't, so then the Pesach will come in a month, and you're saying that it's this Zaken Mamre saying no, it's a month later, so they're going to eat chametz on Pesach. They won't think that chametz is 30 days later, and vice versa as well. If he says it's not Mober and it is, so then they're not going to observe the Pesach that comes in 2 months. So this is and eating chametz on Pesach is chayve krisis. So that's how we get to Rameya that it's a chayve krisis b'mezid and the chatas b'shagig. Davar zu halacha. Davar ze halacha. That's talking about halacha l'Moshe Sinai. I'm sorry. V'ilhagis akashay chametz of Pesach. So zok the Gemara. Davar ze halacha. So he said zu hilchas acharasa. meaning we said it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. This is the halachas of the 11th day of Azava. Like we explained before, Midaraisa, you have 7 days of Anida, followed by 11 days, which a person is capable of becoming a Zav, where a man becomes a Zav, a woman becomes a Zava. So let's say a woman. So if she's Raya during any of those 7 days, she has to wait that day plus the day that she's Raya plus the following day. Because if she's going to see, then she's going to go be upgraded from being a Stam Zav Shemeres Yom Keneged Yom to maybe becoming a Zav Gedal. But we have halacha l'Moshe Sinai that does not apply on the 11th day. On the 11th day, if she's Roya, that's already, she's automatically, she's going to be considered just a Zava Ketana just for that day. And the following day, she's already, as soon as nightfall comes, she's going to be Tar. The Itmar. Asiri Rabbi Yechon Amar Asiri Kachi. Rabbi Yechon says the 10th day is like the 9th day. And on the 9th day, you have to count the next 2 days. He has to wait, not just this day, but the following day, because maybe, I'm sorry, I say he or she, whatever the case may be, she'll have to wait for the following day to see if maybe she's going to be Raya and become a Zava Gedailah. So the 10th day has the same status as any other day, the 9th day or any other day of the 11 days. He says, no, Asiri is the same thing as the 11th day, just like this halacha l'Moshe Sinai, that an 11th day, only that day is considered to be, she's considered to be a Zav for that day, but it goes away on the following day and then becomes back to being the regular Dinim Nida. The same thing would be on the 10th day, because you don't have, it's no possibility, I guess, of there being 3 days before the Dinim Nida kicks in, but that's the halacha l'Moshe Sinai. But in any case, this halacha l'Moshe Sinai, this dispute about this halacha l'Moshe Sinai, this is what they were arguing about, and the Zaken Mamre paskin keneged the other dayanim, and that would be a chiyuv kares. Then you say what the svar is. The 10th day is like the 9th day, just like the 9th day, you have to be shomer for the following day to see if he's going to be raya. So the same thing by the 10th. Okay, we're going to stop over here and we'll continue going through the Brisa of Hashem 625 tomorrow.
Wonderful. Yo, thank you.